A lot of people complain about tight hamstrings and a tight spine, but I'm going to show you a very easy lesson that will lengthen your hamstrings and your spine without stretching, and certainly without any pain. If you have RSI, I'm going to show you variations so that you can protect your hands during this lesson, and then if you have osteoporosis, I'm going to also give you some special instructions. So here we go. You're going to start by just letting your hands rest on your thighs, and then I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me. Then you're just going to bend over, sort of round over a little bit, and just see where you go easily. So you're not trying to touch your toes or anything. You're just seeing where is the honest place where you start feeling resistance, where you would start having to use effort to get further. So for me, if I'm really honest with myself, I stop right about here. And so let's all do that in the beginning, and we'll do it at the end of the lesson so you can see the difference. Now, if you have RSI, it might bother you to put your hands flat on the chair seat. And you can use a martial arts position, that's basically being on your fist, or you can put your forearms on the chair seat. The thing that you want to do is keep your back long. If you can't do that without rounding your back, you can just go to the other side of the chair and do the same thing. So here, my back is really flat, and I can hold on to the chair. If you need to pad the chair, you probably want to pad the chair if it's not already padded, and use your forearms. But whatever you do, keep your back flat so it's not rounded. That will actually lead to back pain and strain. So I'm going to use the chair seat, but you use whatever you need. And then we're just going to take a little exploration. So here, just notice which foot is carrying your weight more easily. Which foot would you balance on? Which foot feels more secure? And then bend both knees. And notice which ankle slides more easily. You might have a deeper bend on one side. That's one way to tell. It might just feel easier on one side or the other. So once you've discovered that, start just bending the easy leg. Leave the other one alone. Bending and straightening easily. Using only the effort that's necessary to do the movement. This is not an exercise where you're going for your max at all. In fact, just the opposite, do less. So now, I'm going to see if I can teach my other ankle to glide as easily as my first one. We started with the easy side. So we can play with the movement of the knee, keeping the knee out toward the second toe. And see if it's getting easier for you to slide your ankle forward. And then let's try both together again. Maybe it feels more even now. Maybe you get a deeper bend. So then, let's look at the knees. As you're bending your knees, which one is easy? So for me, it's the first side again. So I'm just going to bend my right knee because that's my easy side. For you, it might be the left. And I'm noticing how I'm doing that just on the right. So easy. Now, can I teach my left knee to be as easy? And all the while you're doing this, your back is flat. So I'm steering my left knee over the second toe, giving it a chance to learn ease. And then I'm going to bend both knees. And maybe both knees feel better now. So I'm going to take a little break because that was a lot on my hands. And for you, you take a break whenever you need to. You can pause the recording and just come back. But whatever you do, don't strain your hands doing this lesson. Okay, so we're going to come back, and now we're going to pay attention to the hips. So bend your knees, and which hip feels like it's bending more easily? And again, for me, I'm still on the same side, so it's my right hip. So I'm going to bend my right hip and just play with that, feeling the ease of that movement. And also, of course, goes along with a knee bend and an ankle bend. And then I'm going to bend my left hip. So it's quite different. I'm noticing that my tailbone goes a different way. I'm coordinating this with my breath. Seeing what can I do to make the left hip move as easily as the right one. And then let's bend both hips. And maybe they both feel a little bit more easy. And we're going to take another break. Maybe you feel more balanced on both feet during the break. So bend forward. Again, place your hands however you need to. And we're going to bend our knees. And as you do that, round your spine and then lengthen. So you're rounding your back a little bit and lengthening. If you have osteoporosis, just do a pelvic tilt. So you can round. Again, small, easy movements. It doesn't have to be huge. In fact, it's really better if it's small. And as you straighten your spine, notice the first instance when your head becomes involved. So you're rounding, and then there's going to be a point where you need to lift your head in order to lengthen the spine. So just notice that exact moment. And then we're going to add a strong abdominal contraction. So as you're rounding, contract, contract, contract your belly. And then you can let it go a little bit as you lengthen. Contract. Let the belly release as you lengthen and lift your head. Belly releases as you lift your head. Contracts as you round your back. So you're squeezing the navel to the spine, releasing as you look up. And I'm going to rest my hands. You take breaks whenever you need to. Don't wait for me to tell you. Now, as you do that same movement, so you're rounding your back, pulling in your abdominals, and allow your eyes to look down as you lift your head. So your eyes are looking down as you lift your head, and up when you're arching. It's a little bit of a coordination challenge. Looking down as you lift your head, looking up as you arch. Looking down as you lift your head, looking up as you arch. Okay, then let that go. Take a little break. And then come back with your hands still on the seat or the back of the chair. You're going to look over your right shoulder towards your hip a few times. So keep going back and forth and notice how this opens your hip on the other side. So I'm just looking as though if I had a tail, I'd be looking at my tail. back and forth. So now you're side bending. So now, pause and look over your left shoulder and notice how your neck is involved. So it's as though you wanted to see your tail. As you do that, you're lengthening on the right side of your ribs. And notice how the weight keeps shifting on your feet as you do this. Kind of like a puppy chasing his tail. Good. And then come to standing again. Notice how you're standing. Maybe you feel very solid when you're standing. Take a breath. And then remember what it was like when you just let your hands slide down the front of your thighs. So we're going to, again, just let your hands slide down your thighs. And that's how you lengthen your hamstrings without stretching.